How about that? It means I remember.
How nice.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Mr. Bob Peterson, you can take it away, and we're rocking and rolling and talking about vocational tonight.
All right. That was a perfect intro because rocking and rolling, my profession happens to be rock. I sell rock at Grace Pacific. So anyway, there's a story behind that, but we won't get too much into that. But anyways, yeah, I'm Bob Peterson. My club is Rotary Club of Metropolitan Honolulu. I'd like to be able to say I'm better prepared for this thing, but there's been a lot going on lately. This COVID thing's kind of turned my world upside down, as I'm sure with a lot of you, same thing. But here we go, and I'm really glad you're recording this, Benson. Best I can tell everybody is that definitely save this recording, and you can use it any night about 11 o'clock at night. You're tossing and turning, trying to get to sleep. Turn this sucker on, and it'll put you right out. So, anyways, that's my intro to that. But so Robert and I are the co-chairs of our district vocational service committee. And as if you recall, a few months ago when we, rolled out and we talked about what some of the big things that we're doing. I won't get too much into that, but I just want to make sure everybody does know that we have probably one of the best things done in our committee is on our district webpage. If later on when you open that up, there's a tab that says Rotary Doing Business, and very well done by Janet Kelly. She put a lot of hard work into this thing, and I think it's pretty well done. It has a bunch of Rotarians listed on there with their businesses. You can click on links, you can get right into their websites right from that, and it's a very good service for our Rotary clubs. One of the main things that we want to do is, of course, do business with other Rotarians. So anything that we can do to, foster that and get people to do business with each other, that's one of the big goals of vocational service in Rotary. And if you know, that's how Rotary got started back a little over 100 years ago. Business people getting together and having one classification in a club, and people doing business with each other, networking. And then from there, Rotary has turned into much more than that. But that's how it all got started back in the day, back in 1905. But anyways, Robert, in a few minutes, is going to give you a great example. And I should say that the examples that Robert and I have are what we're doing in our club at Metro. And Robert actually has done a tremendous job of organizing this. He's been our vocational chair of our club for a few years now. And what he does is he organizes what we call a vocational minute or vocational talk at our club. And let me just say that in this day that we're in right now with COVID and being, quarantined and, stay at home, and a lot of businesses, having to operate differently or not at all at this point, at your meetings, the best thing you can do is promote each other in your businesses and try to do business with each other. And so what we do at Metro is we provide the opportunity for our members to give what we call a Rotary vocational talk, anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe 4 minutes. Some people go longer, some people go shorter. But one of the nice things with Zoom is we can actually throw up slides, and I wish I was better at that myself. I'm not very computer literate. But Robert has prepared. So Robert's going to give an example, his company. And so what he's going to do is give an example of a vocational talk that we do at Metro. And what we'd like to do is encourage all of you that are vocational chairs of your clubs to take a look at this and try to take notes of how to do this and how to promote this within your club and get people to participate in this. And it's a great thing to do. So this is, I think, one of the best things that we can do in today's time. But the other thing I want to say is, after Robert is done with this, I'd really like for us to maybe brainstorm, and I'm sure all of you have some great ideas of how you can expand on this or do something different than what we're doing. But I'd just like to brainstorm of things that we can do. I mean, we're, like I keep saying, we're in challenging times. We're not able to do some of the things that we wanted to do, like having the Rotary after hours, like the business functions and the get-togethers. Now that we're not able to do this, all we can do is the Zoom stuff. So Robert, are you ready? You want to put up your slides? And so, like I said, Robert is going to give a vocational talk about his business. So here's a great example of what we do at Metro.
Thanks, Bob. As he mentioned earlier, Bob and I are in the same Rotary Club, Rotary Metro in Honolulu. And to basically reiterate what he said, we're definitely living in interesting times. I think we're all rather sick of Zoom meetings and being locked down and everything else. And so with that, people are losing their jobs or their hours are being cut back. And when all this started, we decided to refocus and shift vocational a bit to be more proactive for the members, in addition to the benefits of possibly recruiting new Rotarians. But we really wanted to focus on the existing membership. And so a few months back, when we did the Zoom meeting to discuss vocational in general, that provided an overview of what vocational service is about with Rotary. Now we want to focus on what we can do right now, some action points. And these are just a few ideas. And like Bob said, we want to open this up for discussion and do some brainstorming, because we know each club has some wonderful ideas and some ideas that didn't work. So if we can just kind of work with each other on this and hone in on those that seem to have the biggest impact, I think it'll benefit all of us. So I put together something, since I know we all love PowerPoints and Zoom, a 37-page slide. Just kidding, it's only about 4 pages. But I'm going to highlight a few things, and then I'm going to do what Bob talked about, basically do my 2-minute vocational introduction. And I'll elaborate on that further when I'm ready to start. But I'm going to move through the slide real quick just to talk about some ideas of what we can do in our clubs right now. And like Bob said, your club, what we do is schedule a vocational 2 to 3 minute, I like to call it a commercial. We did this years ago, and we talked about our history and our background and so forth. But now we're trying to put more of a focus on what we actually do, more of our profession, whether it's academic and business, whatever, or you're retired. Rotarians have this wonderful talent pool of resources, and we want to share that with not only fellow Rotarians, but we also want to entice others. Perhaps we bring guests along and they can see what Rotary is about and what our people are about, and say, hey, I'd like to be part of this. This is a wonderful networking opportunity. Look at all these experienced professionals in Rotary. And so that's sort of the concept of what this is about. Some other ideas that we thought going through for each club is sponsor a CEO or the presidential summit with various companies. We'd like to do it, of course, in person, but for now, through Zoom, we can do it virtual, and perhaps once every month or every 2 months, we sponsor a CEO from a company, whether it's here on the mainland or on the mainland, and we have other persons who are interested in listening to this person speak and do some brainstorming that way. We can develop some really good ideas within our profession from that. Another thing Bob had mentioned, the District 5000 Rotary Doing Business website. This is excellent. and the web link is right there. What this does is basically advertise each Rotarian's business or profession. So if you go to the website, you go to the link where it says Rotary Doing Business, you're going to see all different types of businesses. You click on that and it shows what each member's business is listed, and there's also a link where you have a video uploaded. So it's basically a commercial for your profession. And we want to drive more and more people there, especially now, so we could do more networking, get information with other Rotarians. We could, if I needed to buy 2 tons of rock, I would go to this website and look up GP Solutions and find Bob Peterson there. So that's one of those things where it's good advertising and it's good promotion for Rotarians. Another idea is career planning with youth service and through Rotaract. We can set up, for now, virtual seminars and talk with the youth through Rotaract and through our clubs and just work with people. So whether they're in high school or in college or just recently out of college, they can work with Rotarians perhaps as a mentor to some degree. Another idea we're in the process of doing is preparing video as well as personal tours once the COVID is over of local businesses, whether they're manufacturing companies, hospitals, whatever. In the past, we would do a happy hour and then we would tour various facilities. Our club has done breweries, hospitals, and basically it's like a class tour, a field trip, but on a professional level. And you can mingle with each other and also have conversations with the person in charge of the facility. But this is also an excellent way of sharing one's vocation. Networking with other clubs for ideas, which is what we're really doing right now. We're talking with each vocational chair just to get some ideas of what works and what doesn't work. And I don't know about you, but I know our club, and I'm still responsible for vocation for the Rotary Metro, and I could use some more ideas as well. So finally, and of course, promote our professions in meetings with a target audience of existing and potential members. And I want to highlight this a little more because, again, if I were going through a situation, let's just take a current example, someone who just has been laid off or their hours are cut or their business is really suffering because of the shutdown. They need to market themselves one way or the other. They need to generate more business. How do we do that? So they start looking around, and then someone in Rotary shares their story with them and shares Rotary. And so they log on and check it out, and then they see all these various professionals in all fields talking and sharing their stories and sharing their business. Well, I, for one, would be quite interested in learning more about that organization because I need to network. And that's sort of the concept of why we want to start promoting businesses through quick meetings, through these vocational 2 to 3 minute conversations, through networking and having tours and getting our name out and getting the concept of vocational out to potential members, because that's one thing we all believe we really need to focus on, of course, is membership and driving membership. And I think Rotary is the best organization for learning new skills and networking my business and other people's business. So with that, we thought we would just do a quick little example. And I'm going to use my business as an example. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I have yet to promote my business. So I thought I'll just do a dry run with this Zoom meeting. And this would be something that you can use as an example of how we go about doing our vocational commercial within our club. And so I'm going to time myself, and we want to keep it short, 2 to 3 minutes, because we don't want to bore people too much. So I'm going to set my timer and start now. So I'm just going to pretend I'm in my Rotary Metro Club addressing each of you. Aloha, everyone. My name is Robert Jackson, and I'm the founder and president of Island Traditions. We are a clothing manufacturer. We specialize in corporate apparel, and custom uniforms. And we are purely a manufacturer wholesaler. I started the business in 1993, and again, our focus is on just corporate apparel and uniforms. We do not sell to retailers, and we do not sell to individuals. And we have manufacturing facilities in Hawaii, Indonesia, and Thailand. Again, we produce premium quality uniforms for businesses and special events, group organizations, you name it. If it can be made of fabric and material, that's what we specialize in. One of our particular specialties is designing and manufacturing custom print apparel, which features companies' logos or theme into the fabric design. And just to give you a couple of examples, we're the manufacturers of the Rotary shirt for the convention, and moving forward, the Rotary shirt. So we have, we designed and manufactured the shirts which are on the left for Rotary, and they are available on the website 2020hawaiishirts.com. And so I encourage you to support Rotary District 5000 and also Island Traditions and get yourself a really nice Rotary shirt. We're also the designers and manufacturers of Oahu Transit's uniforms, which is the bus, the handy van, and now the rail. So you'll be seeing all the rail operators wearing our uniforms here shortly once they get operational. Other clients include, you know, we do convenience stores, Aloha Island Mart, we do grocery stores like Foodland. We make custom masks, like you see a photo of the Rotary mask there, and then we do bathrobes, primarily for hotels, but for special events and so forth. So again, that's what we specialize in, is custom uniforms and corporate apparel. We also do non-custom items. We distribute t-shirts and print t-shirts for the city and county of Honolulu, Parks and Recreation, and the Board of Water Supply, and state of Hawaii. So anything with apparel is something that we can offer. And of course, we hope to expand our business with Rotarians. And that being said, I thank you very much for your attention. There, I tried to get it under 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, that's just one quick example of how you could go about presenting your products. I sort of put this thing together quickly, and we've had a couple of people present their vocational speech with some wonderful photos, and I'd really like to encourage people to try to use quick video snippets too, if that's possible. So it's a little more sophisticated, but it can be done, but it makes for a really wonderful and enticing video, and it has Rotarians wanting to ask more about your company. And then we like to follow these up once we go back to regular meetings. You can follow these up with your brochures. You can have your brochures available at your meeting and your business card. And it's just a wonderful way to promote your product and or service or expertise and share that with others. And with that being said, I just put our contact information down here for either Bob or myself. If you have any other further questions or anything regarding vocational and you'd like to ask, feel free to give us a call or email. And with that, I think we'd like to open this up just for some brainstorming and answer any questions you may have, and any suggestions or ideas that your club is currently offering that you'd like to share with the group.
Hey, Robert, I'm sorry to ask this question. I didn't see any of your screens. Did everybody else see them? No? I believe you went through that whole presentation. It was a very well done talk, but I don't
kidding.
see any of your stuff. You want to whip through?
Yeah, I hit shared screen. I thought that's...
I didn't see anything.
You see that?
I see that now coming up, yes.
Okay,
I don't see the screen yet. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, okay, well, that's the products we make.
All right,
I was rolling along just fine. So.
I probably should have interrupted and told you, but
Yes, you should have, but that's okay. I forgive you. But anyway, that's what we make. We make shirts and dresses and blouses and Rotary masks like you see in bathrobes, and it's all corporate apparel. So I hope people weren't falling asleep and at least listening to some of the stuff I said.
It was very well done, Robert. But can you go to the very first slide, the one that where you kind of gave the outline? Yeah, the next one.
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's what Robert started talking about. Is you know, these are the things that well, he said it already, so I won't repeat it. And since Benson is recording this, you can go back to this and read it and, you know, study it tonight at 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Before we open it up, I just wanted to add too that, you know, so so Robert gave a great example of what we do at Metro, and like I said, with Zoom, you can put slides up just like this, Robert. And then the other thing is that because of Zoom, you know, we have the opportunity, we can pull from other clubs from all vocations. So if you want to invite, you can invite Robert to your club, and he would love to do a vocational talk at your club. I would
Just don't ask me to operate the presentation file. So.
I mean, I'd be happy to do it myself, but you know, like I said, I'm in the rock business. I don't have very sexy stuff to show about what I do in my business. But that being said, one of the things that we are looking at doing is once we can get out and meet again, I'm going to have our club come up to our quarry. The quarry itself is pretty impressive. It's you know, it's the Great Pacific Quarry up in Makakilo. And I'm going to try to arrange the club to come up when we do a dynamite blast of, you know, getting rock off of the mountain. It's pretty impressive, you know, so we're going to do that, and we might be able to, you know, open that up to other clubs. I see Arlene says she would love to attend that. So, you know, we can maybe open that up, and, you know, but like Robert said, I mean, we can do that in pretty much any business. You know, one of the popular ones, I think he mentioned it, one of the real popular ones at Metro was we did a visit to a brewery. One of our members was operating a brewery, and that was a very popular one, all the beer tasting and stuff going on. So that was a great vocational spot. And then the other thing that, and Robert did mention this too, but we've had some great speakers come to our clubs that are CEOs of some of the top businesses. And one of the great ones was actually our parent company, which is Alexander and Baldwin. We had Alan Doan, the chairman of the board of Alexander and Baldwin, come and share, and he gave a great talk. It was one of the better talks of the year when he came and visited. So yeah, there's just a few things we can do, but you can pull your slides off now, Robert, and we can open it up for discussion. If anybody has questions or anybody wants to add, go for it.
Well, if I may, I'm going to offer a thought. First, a kudo to both of you. This is a good briefing. It's a key topic. Grace Pacific, for years, was a great supporter of our club, Rotary Club of Kapolei, and the other clubs in doing the Ko'olina Taste at Kapolei. So we were much appreciative of that many years of support. And as far as island traditions, I think we all proudly wear the shirts, and they're really, really high quality. And I think an excellent initiative and good deal for Rotary. I don't have a lot of good ideas, new ideas. A couple of years ago, I was the vocational service chair for the district. A couple of things I noticed. One of them is that some of our neighbor island clubs will come up with some of the very best ideas. So in the networking, I think it's important to include them. I was impressed by the vocational service programs at Honolulu Bay, for example. And they've typically been strong as some other clubs in that area. The other thing that you touched on early on that I think is significant is the reference to Paul Harris and that small group of businesses, different businesses, gathering for mutual support. That's really a key part of our background that led to where we are today. And I think it distinguishes us from other service organizations. So without preaching on it, I think there's a link between the club trainer the vocational service chair and the membership person in their approach to new people that might want to join Rotary, into weaving in that piece that we really do celebrate, bringing in people from all different walks of life and businesses and welcoming them for what they bring. So,
Yes, thank you.
yep.
Can we share now?
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm Rodney Pasqua. I'm with the Rotary Club of Pueblo Beach. And, you know, like Robert's club, we've been doing what we call offsite meetings. And every fifth Wednesday, we would have an offsite meeting. You know, like same thing, we would go to the, one of the places we did was like the rum factory. Obviously, it was for Kaloa rum. We've had instances where we would actually meet at the beach and have the lifeguards tell their spiel. And initially, you know, the same thing is what I tell these people that are sharing is to what was your initial thought or investment in your career and to where you are now, basically is the program that I sort of set up for these guys. So now, obviously we can't be doing offsite meetings unless you have an offsite meeting with, well, I guess Oahu is with 5 people now. We can still do 10 in Kauai. And so we're going to have our offsite, a 5th Wednesday in September. So while I was having coffee at this place called The Warehouse in Lauai, I noticed a new shop in this area. And so I just walked in and see if they would, you know, kind of check the place out. And they had kind of an unusual type of arrangement where they had bottles of cleaners, like dishwashing soap, detergents, you know, cleaning stuff like that, where you could actually bring your own bottle and purchase it that way, you know, in bulk, I guess. So I asked the lady if they would be interested in doing a offsite Zoom meeting where they could, you know, join our easily on their telephone, kind of give us a tour of their facility there. So, you know, that's kind of a brand new idea I came up with. You know, I've actually been doing, it's kind of my baby of vocational service. And like you guys said, you know, that's how Rotary started. I've been doing, I've been the Rotary vocational chair for 2 clubs now, and I've been doing it for about 4 years for Pueblo Beach. Anyway, that's an idea. Thank you.
Great idea. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodney.
Welcome.
I did something a little bit different as vocational chair. I'm with Rotary Club of Hilo Bay, and I've been the vocational chair for, I think I did about 4 years worth, maybe a little bit more. And I started running out of speakers and ideas. And one of the things that I knew is that if we said, who's the banker at our Rotary Club, we all knew it was Art Taniguchi. So I decided we needed to know a little bit more about the people that we sat and ate breakfast with. So at the beginning of the year, I did a survey and I asked 10 questions. So the first question that you ask is, what high school did you go to, right? So I asked different questions like that, and then I put the answers up on a PowerPoint and said, name that Rotarian with a prize afterwards. And so it just, usually if we didn't have a speaker, that's what we ended up doing, was name that Rotarian. We had some surprises in terms of who they were. So we gave a personality to the vocation. So that was one of the things that we did. We've done the off-site tours and that type of thing too. So.
Great idea.
Great.
We did something very similar at Metro as well. It wasn't part of the vocational service, but great idea. That's excellent. And maybe you could really pull that into vocational service by, you know, I don't know. Yeah, that's a great one. That's a good idea.
One of the things as presidents is the nightmare is the speaker who doesn't show up. And so, and some of us who've been a president all know that that does happen. They forget, even if you give them a reminder. And one of the things that we always found that was helpful was to have 2 or 3 plants within your club that you know that you could call upon them to do a vocational talk, not for just a minute or 2 minutes or 3 minutes, but to do the 20-minute session. And if you couldn't do it with one, you could do it with 2. And so what we normally do is find 2 or 3 people within our club that can do that. We know that they're proficient at speaking in ad hoc, and we ask them to go ahead and be our backup speaker. And it's already happened this year, and so it worked out well. And I will say that that's a good thing to have in your back pocket just in case of an emergency.
That's a great idea. We've had a couple of speakers bail out or forget on us.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. So actually we have two of our members work for Morgan Stanley, and about once a year we bring them in, or I mean, we have them do the 20-minute, you know, speaker talk, like you said, and they're very, it's really cool because they give a really good update on what's going on with the stock market and investments, and that's a pretty hot topic in these times as well. So, but yeah, that's a great idea. You know, have them as like a backup and, you know, ready to go in case the speaker doesn't show up. Good idea.
Hi, so Natalie Champion, vocational co-chair for the Rotary E-Club of Hawaii. And we have been tossing around the idea of having vocational panels either every other month or every month, and just get groupings of people that are within finance or health and wellness or law and government or whatever, and asking them all the same kind of question, like, you know, why did you get into the profession that you're in? What's one thing that you wish more people knew about your profession? And things like that to kind of engage the membership. But my question is, do the different Rotary clubs have like a centralized member database where you've got the information for what members do, what their vocations are, to kind of draw from? Or would that be something that you maybe, that we would maybe put like a survey out to get that information?
Naomi, you might be best equipped to answer that question.
Yeah.
When a member is put into the Club Runner or the Rotary International website, there is a field for putting in their classification. And so as long as it's put in, we can create a database based on their classification. So secretary should put in that classification code so we can sort and maybe have a resource of people in certain industries where they can talk with each other, or we can get information out to them. So it's information in that's going to be good.
Okay. So if it hasn't been done on the front end, it's up to either the secretary or for people to kind of self, you know, put it into the Club Runner. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
We have several people who are retired, so we not only have their classification, but we're putting together their avocation or their hobbies, because we know that some of that talent can be used for projects that we have, and that's something we're putting together this year. And we've done the panels, and one of the questions I've asked in a panel is how does the four-way test fit into your business, and ask them to give examples.
That's a really good one. I was trying to remember, years ago, we had an award that was given out, and it started off as a club award, and then everybody got put into the pool, and then it became also a district award of like the vocational person of the year kind of thing. And the big criteria on that is how they exhibit the four-way test in their profession. And, you know, how can you beat that, right? The four-way test in your profession. But yeah, I was trying to find out what we call that award, and if it's something we could maybe bring back to life. That might be something we'll take a look at, Robert. You and I, we can research that. I know Roz, I tried asking Roz about that because she was involved with that back, I don't know, like 20 years ago. And I don't know what happened to that. I don't think we do that anymore. Do we, Naomi? Do you know?
Well, there's not a dedicated award for that, but there is an Avenues of Service award that the club president can give for each avenue of service. So usually they want to do that towards the end of the year and present it at the installation banquet, but that's available anytime where a president can nominate them on the Rotary website.
Cool. Okay, good.
One I thought might be a fun and very good idea would be something to the effect of, well, I'll explain it by giving an example. Let's say a person has a company or works for a company and they want to learn more about how to obtain financing for capital projects, or they're having problems with customers paying late. How do you handle that? Or human resource issues. I know when I started my business, I would have loved to have talked to some Rotarians who've been in the business for a while and just pick their brain and learn from them and learn what to do and what not to do just within that particular profession or a business. Or if, let's say, you're a dentist and you want to discuss dental techniques with other Rotarians who are dentists, just kind of pick each other's brain, which also goes back to what was mentioned, like a CEO summit, or it could just be a profession summit, even within our own clubs. I know we don't have many professions that overlap, but at least in our club, we have a lot of people in the financial services area. But if we could even expand that, especially with Zoom online, I would love to talk to other manufacturers on what they're going through right now with COVID. And a lot of businesses in particular are really, really struggling. Or if I owned a restaurant, I would love to talk about my problems or my opportunities with other restaurateurs and learn from that. So that could be something that could possibly work within a club or within the district itself.
Hey, Robert, why don't we ask everybody if people are interested in that? If we have people interested, let's just do it. Set up that meeting for people to share information. So who would be interested in something like that? Would your clubs be interested? So this would be a Zoom meeting where business owners or people in business would come and say, hey, what are you guys doing for sales or social media or whatever? Okay, so good. Okay, Robert, let's do it.
All right, I'm sure Bob Peterson would be happy to set that up for us. I'll put him down.
Thanks, Robert.
What are friends for?
Gabriel.
Yes. So actually, it's kind of interesting that you guys mentioned about that because I'm Gabriel. I'm from the Honolulu Sunset. And so being the vocational service director, this year I've been trying to strategize and looking for individuals who use their vocations to help improve the community as well as the other Rotarians during this COVID situation. And so one is, for example, some of the individuals who I've been in contact with, like, is the Central Pacific Bank, who had their Keep Hawaii Cooking program going, where you buy a dish and they pay 50% off of it for you, while you pay the other half. So that's some kind of strategies I've been looking at, as well as I'm wondering if there's any other vocational chairs who are interested in those kind of strategies, who looking for individuals who are making the impact as of right now because of COVID, as well as trying to grow a network.
A good idea. Plus, it would keep their mind busy.
Yeah, Robert, you did mention you sell masks, right? You have a nice little line on Rotary masks.
Yes, yes. Never thought I'd be manufacturing masks, but COVID changed everything.
I wonder if we, if we look around the islands, and we've got a lot of businesses that obviously the business is depressed a lot right now because it's tourism dependent, but they also are interested as they reopen, as we get past our current surge, in getting more local participation. So I'm thinking of businesses like Coral Crater, owned by a Rotarian, as an entertainment here. Maybe the water park, maybe Hawai'i Forest and Trail, Rob Pacheco's outfit over there, or maybe a resort like Castle Hilo Resort or someone else that might want to do a commercial to explain what they do and a virtual tour of what they offer that they could put together and package that could be seen on a Zoom. It's a bit of a commercial for them, but that interface might bring them into the fold of a local Rotary club, and if business results, maybe they would become part of one of our clubs.
Absolutely. It's a very good idea. And the hotels are really being hit hard right now. Well, like you said, everyone in the tourist industry, and so they're gonna be looking for some opportunities and ways to thinking outside the box to help rebound.
Yeah, it might work better with those that have a local tie. I seem to get texts regularly from the folks at Outrigger, for example, asking me about various things, not so much from the national chains, but maybe with any of those that have Hawaii roots, we might be able to work some interfaces.
Very good idea.
I find that there has been no shortage of people that can come and speak about what negative things are happening with COVID. And what I would like to do, and what I've been trying to do, is find some speakers that have seen that they've been able to rise above COVID, or where their business actually has flourished with COVID, and have wanted to hear how their business has benefited from the COVID, not on a opportunistic side, but where they were able to reshape their business to be able to make it a more positive arena for them to be able to make a profit. And I'm thinking, eventually you're going to be hearing a lot of speakers that have a lot of doom and gloom, but then your members are going to start getting depressed with all of that information too. You may want to find a few people that we can bring into the light that will show some positive things of what they've been able to do for success stories in COVID.
Reach out to one of your local bike stores, or if anybody here is interested in cycling, visit a bike store, visit Target, visit Walmart. They don't have bikes in stock.
That's right.
COVID, this is dancing on the grave, and I apologize, but if you're a bike store owner, people are repairing their bikes. It's a boom for them. I mean, they have more work than they can do, and they can't keep stock in because the supply lines are shut out. They're all sold out of their inventory.
Well, there's no doubt that the technology industry has benefited strongly from the COVID, because now that everybody's working from home, they need to be able to bring in more bandwidth. They need to be able to bring in more resources. We've seen Zoom's stock price just zoom and soar. All of those things are ones that you could bring to the light of the club and have them talk about, you know, how that's been a benefit for them. We're busy.
I'd like to raise an issue relating what I would call the shoulder effect. And what I'm referring to is that I'm new to the island, but not new to entrepreneurship. And the Honolulu Bay Rotary Club sponsored an event. They did it for 2 years. They did not do it this year because of COVID. It was called Catch a Wave, which is really a celebration and competition for new entrepreneurs. And so we are hopeful that we can do it this coming Rotary year, the one that we're in right now. The reason why I think it's so important and why I say it in context of the shoulder effect is that from adversity springs creativity. And that's really what Catch a Wave symbolizes. And the more we will be able to have other partners involved in that for the island of Kauai, it stimulates others to think that I too can make something, create something, do something that progresses beyond where we are right now. Kauai, as you all know, is a pretty small island in terms of population base, and an island that is extremely dependent upon the tourism sector. And no one really knows. I mean, we're sort of living in a period of the in-between places. We don't know what the future is really going to be like. We don't know when this disease is going to be abated, if ever. So you're going to have to move forward. So that's what we're going to do, is the Catch a Wave effort, push it forward and see if it creates an effect, the shoulder effect that becomes island-wide. It's not just a Rotary thing, it would be an island thing.
Bill, that initiative you mentioned is one of many that were the reasons that I mentioned Honolulu Bay as being a standout in vocational service. Maybe you and your fellow club members would think about preparing a Zoom-ready presentation that other clubs would like to use. Use your club as our guest speakers to inspire us on some things we could do.
That's quite a challenge, and maybe we'll see what we can do. Thank you.
Thanks.
What was cool about Honolulu's Catch a Wave thing was that the winners last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Bill, were able to get a 1-year membership, like a charter, not charter. Like we got the second place winner, be a member for a year, and hopefully she'll sign up to be a real member. Anyway, just a thought.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Rodney, I think Kapa'a was also giving away free memberships to their club, and they advertised that on the radio. So that was pretty cool. And I wanted to ask, anybody doing vocational training for interactors or for youth groups to share career paths or mentoring, anything with youth service?
We've done that in the past. We haven't been doing that in the last couple of years, but we were doing that with our Rotaract club. So yeah, but yeah, that's a good point. That's something we should probably try to get back going again.
And we also had people from our club go to speak to our Interact clubs like Midpack and Roosevelt to talk to them about their professions, and even HPU, and give an individual talk, or even have a panel of speakers from our club that would go over there and give them a different sight of kind of a viewpoint of a presentation for their particular career, and give them an idea on that area. And that's worked out well. Kids have a short attention span, but and they get bored very easily. So you got to keep it fun and light.
Hi, this is Mel. I'm with Hello Sunrise too. Sorry, I joined a little late. But I want to say that, Dave is right. Dave, that's something we've done in the past. I'll tell you a challenge that we've actually had in the last couple of years is we wanted to try to come up with a mentorship program and partner with both Roosevelt and MidPAC. And we reached out to both of them, and this is the last few years, and it was really difficult to get their interest because they had so much going on. I mean, that was a challenge even to try and hook up. So we did do a talk, but they've had, I mean, there's so many competing things that they have to just even get their time. It's really a challenge. So, we talked about grabbing information, like we did a survey to kind of see who in our club get their bios, because I think in in Club Runner there is a section for biographies, and we try to capture what some of our members were interested in and thought we might share. But I wanted to say that was kind of a challenge in the last couple of years recently, is just trying to connect up with them because they're so busy and they have so many other interests.
That's good to know. I know our club was looking at doing something like that. And, that could present a challenge. Thanks, Melanie.
It's probably going to present more of a challenge with the current academic year and the fact that a lot of them are still doing distance learning, and the fact that the schools aren't having any excessive curricula brought to the surface. They just don't want to have anything more to dilute the kids from what they currently have to deal with. So you're probably going to get some opposition. We used to read to both Royal Elementary and Lincoln Elementary, and both of those programs are screeching halt for this beginning of this year and probably for most of the year. They said, well, let's look at it again after January. So that's a really short period of time that you read to children that are kindergarten through first and second grader, but they don't even have the time for that. So just beware that is an obstacle.
One of the things our clubs, other than speakers, was we've been providing scholarships at our community college here for the culinary arts, the nursing students, and for like years. And for the last several years, I came up with providing scholarships for the trades. So they were, we kind of bypassed it last year. I guess I got too busy in my own work and didn't get through on it. But so that was very interesting to be able to, it was a very, well, the way this particular program worked was that we had the instructors actually provide a name in their shop, such as electrical, carpentry, automotive, some of those very trade-ish type of work, which of course is the heart, I feel, of vocational service. And a lot of these kids were in need of money, and so we had about $5,000 that we were able to pass out to several kids. So after they've got, each shop had $1,000, or they could give it to one person or give it to a couple people, spreading out the money in their shop. And once we got all the awardees, we would get together. We can't do it this time, but we would have a meeting with all those people and have these kids talk about why they picked their profession. And I think that was a very good way to bring out these kids. Not all of them like to talk, but it was fun to see how they reacted to having to, get some money, and even to tell us what you're going to use their money for, even just to pay rent, some of them. So yeah, so we've been fortunate. I guess we could do it with Zoom also. So yeah, we've been giving out money to the community college.
Very good. So we're about a few minutes away from ending our session here. So I really appreciate everybody's input, and we also wanted to offer Robert and my services. If you would like any of you clubs out there, if you want us to Zoom in on one of your meetings, invite us in. We would we could do what Robert showed on his example of doing a Rotary talk. We'd be happy to do that, or we could talk just about vocational service as a whole. We'd be happy to do that. I was trying to schedule actual visits to clubs, but obviously can't do that now, but we can Zoom in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Robert and I either of us would be happy to do that. So I think our contact info up on the screen, maybe you could do that again, Robert, before we end, and throw our contact info, make sure everybody has it. And we'd be happy to do anything we can do.
Thank you both.
Oh, my computer froze. There we go. Let's see.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, let's give Bob and Robert a hand. Thank you.
Yeah.
Not a question, but just a comment. I like the idea, and this was early on in the meeting, but I don't know, I'm not always the fastest car on the track. I apologize. But I think, getting one thing that really struck a chord was getting back to basics and maybe letting our members promote themselves and promote their businesses, because, like it was mentioned, we know in our club, for example, Corey is the banker, and, we know that is a fact, and we know that every week, but maybe have him remind us, okay, yes, I'm the banker, but this is what I do. And in this time of COVID, this is what I can do to help you or help your friends or help your family. So maybe, yeah, looking backwards a little bit will help us look forward.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, well, there's our contact info. Give us a call, send us an email. And with that, you got anything to end with, Robert?
No, I think that's it. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. Like Bob said, if you have any questions, just send us an email or give us a phone call. We'd love to help.
Thank you all.
Hey guys, just want to say that great presentation, and would love to incorporate you guys working with our club trainers, and then also with our current presidents. We have a once-a-month meeting with all the club presidents and a once-a-month meeting with all the club trainers. So this would be great information for everybody. And so I've got your contact, and let me book you guys a slot. I know your calendar is probably getting really busy now, so I'll book you before the busy season.
Sounds good.
Yeah, great.
Thanks, Benson.
Okay, anybody got any other questions, comments, or whatever? We're right at the 8 o'clock hour, man. This is just like precision. It's pretty awesome. So Bob and Bob, thanks a lot. You guys got any comments or any other things you want to say before we sign off?
I'm good.
No, just
All right.
Thanks again.
All right, that's great, guys. Thanks a lot, you guys.
Thank
take
you.
care. See ya. See you at the
Bye-bye.
next meeting. Take care.
Bye.
Hey, Bob and Robert, stay on.
Sure.
Okay, so Bob and Robert,
Yes.
Yes.
let's do that thing. And I was thinking, would it have been good if we could do Rotary Rotary means business, but I don't think we can do that. So let's do a Rotary doing business once a month, and we can start with everybody who wants to do a 2-minute blatant promote your company, yeah. And then maybe the next one could be one where we're asking them to bring successes like Dave Mostrin said. And then maybe the next one is what are the issues or problem solve. Yeah, so if we can have it on the same day every month at the same time, when we tell all of the business people to join us for that meeting. What do you guys think?
I like it.
Can do.
Okay, so can you think of a name, a day at a time, and then let's set up, if you can do it now, then I'll put it in the newsletter so we can get the word out.
Robert and I will brainstorm that and come up with a date that we can both be available for that, and we'll get back to you within the next day or so. Is that good?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, and Robert, I need that flyer with the shirts so I can put into the newsletter.
You'll have it first thing in the morning. I'll tell you what, I'll call you at 4 in the morning and tell you it's on its way. Is that all right?
Yeah, no,
All right.
she's up because Naomi does not sleep.
Yeah, I know.
I get texts from her at like 3:12 a.m. So I'm like, oh my God, we gotta cut this girl back to decaf.
She does sleep. She sleeps through my PowerPoint presentation.
Well, if we could see it.
Yeah, I know. Bob, you should have interrupted me.
Well, you know, I'm so computer illiterate. I was just being, I thought I was stupid. I thought I wasn't only seeing it. I mean,
some wingman you are.
I mean, I really, you know, I'm just not used to all this stuff. And then I thought everybody was following along, and everybody seemed to be, you know, real interested in what you were saying. Maybe they were just so enamored by handsome face that, you know, that's good
Well,
enough.
they were looking at me, but I think they were looking at Benson. And
Yeah, no, I was thinking that these are your comments before you showed the thing. So I thought, oh yeah, man, this is a big lead up, man. And then I was wondering, man, I wonder what's on his presentation.
Yeah,
that's all good, Robert. It all turned out okay.
Yeah, turned out great, man. It was awesome.
You were able to throw it up there. It was all good. So good job. Good job.
It was fun. It was fun.
All right.
Okay, gang. Thanks a lot.
Well, have a great evening, everyone.
You guys, take care. I'll actually, I recorded all of this part, but no problem. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thanks.
Bye.
We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.